In this video, we're going to see Succession star Brian Cox absolutely destroy Donald Trump and Elon Musk in this clip at Oxford Union in the UK. Bear in mind, this clip was at the start of this year, but I definitely wanted to share this one with you. As usual, let's watch it in full and I'll give you guys my thoughts towards the end.
One thing I think more on a serious note I wanted to touch on, Succession really depicts the reality of the media empire in the US. And I think there is a stark reality of what bits of Succession you see. We can compare what happens in real life as well. How do you compare and how do you see someone who has lived in the US, who has played such a powerful roles and who's been in the UK as well? How do you see the role of powerful individuals having such a control, especially now Trump coming into power?
Well, I think what has happened, and I think Biden made a great speech the other day about the fear of oligarchy. And that is one of the biggest problems nowadays that we have. And interestingly, Succession deals with that very strongly, and particularly with the vision of who they are, and that becomes problematic at times. I found it. I just find that. I mean, the great thing about Succession is it deals with entitlement. And that is one of the curses of an oligarchy, is they feel entitled. Like that idiot Musk, who feels so entitled. And of course, the pink Pinocchio, he's worse than anybody. But you know who the pink Pinocchio is, don't you? You don't know who the pink Pinocchio is. Who's got pink hair and tells a lot of lies and is president of the United States tomorrow? That is the pink Pinocchio. Anyway, you've got that. You've got the way the world is heading now, and it's going more and more right wing, and it's a big worry because what happens is they're not interested. Trump has no interest in the people or what the people have. This is a man who is saying, "Oh well, we should make Canada the 51st state, and we've got to take back the Panama Canal." And what is really, really important is that Mexico must be renamed. I think he's renaming Mexico. Have I got that wrong? Pardon? Oh, the Gulf of Mexico has to be renamed. Yeah, the Gulf of America. So that, and behind all that is an isolationist point of view, really. And that's the danger of it, the real danger. He might be an idiot, but he's a dangerous idiot. And that's what I think is the problem, really, that we have to deal with, because I personally couldn't, I lived through 4 years of him before, and I shan't be going back to America too much in the next, even though I got my 2 sons there, and my wife is there from time to time. But I can't deal with this man. I can't believe that they have voted for him in the way they have voted for him. And they can't see what he is. The guy is a liar, he's a fantasist of the first order, but it's also something to do about the state of the world. It very much reflects where we are as a world, And I think that's the biggest problem of all, is that we're in a very bad way. If that man does become president, that means a lot of Americans are in a very bad way, quite frankly, I think.
I see your point. However, the larger argument over there is that at the end of the day, he came with a mandate. Millions of people voted for him, despite knowing about his convictions, despite knowing about his history. That despite all of that, the American people voted for him. And then the argument is that what he does as a part of the mandate should be respected.
Well, let me tell you about that first. Americans are not very good with women. They really aren't. They're fucking awful with women. I personally long for a matriarchy. Because the patriarchy just doesn't fucking work and hasn't fucking worked for years. And that's what they represent. That's what all those guys like Musk and Trump represent. Fierce patriarchy. And of course it reflects. You look at the amount of people who didn't vote for Kamala. Now, also, there was a major fuck-up over that. And the major fuck-up was Joe Biden, who behaved stupidly. You know, he knew that he was, and you know, and when he did that terrible, I mean, the poor man, of course, he clearly has these, he must be on a lot of medication because he has times when he, no, I'm not funny about that, that's, I'm not far off myself. Anyway, I just think he just handled it so badly and made it impossible for her to achieve anything. And also the fact that she was a woman and they don't like women. I mean, Hillary Clinton, we've seen incidences of that before, and that to me is a very disappointing and rather tragic situation, quite honestly.
No, I completely see the point there. So how would you see then the relationship between Hollywood?
So look, for me personally, just hearing what it is that Brian Cox said, number one, I love it because I do believe that we need more people that are in positions of influence, positions of power. Brian Cox most definitely being an individual who has a bit of influence here in Europe as well as over there in the United States of America. But look, Brian Cox isn't the only person to have this sort of opinion, this sort of mindset. He's not. There's multiple people that we can speak to that are in positions of power and influence that have spoken out against Donald Trump. And I'll just take you guys through some of them just to give you some examples. Rosie O'Donnell, this is a lady who we know that as, you know, she's fled America. She's now living in Ireland. She's been one of his toughest, you know, critics for years. And we've seen Donald Trump, even to this very day, still continues to go after her. And she is living in Ireland now, and she stated that she'd only return to the US when all citizens have equal rights, and she previously called Trump out for being illegal and being immoral as well. If we look at the comedian and the TV show host Jimmy Kimmel, consistently mocks and sharply criticizes Donald Trump on his show, referring to his presidency as a national nightmare. The great Madonna, she criticized Trump's policies, especially those that affect the LGBTIQ plus rights, saying it's sad to see our government dismantling all the freedoms that it is that we've fought for. Taylor Swift, another individual, accused Trump of glorifying violence, especially after the George Floyd murder. And she continues to speak out for productive rights, even as to this day. Obviously, as we know, Donald Trump played a massive role in dismantling Roe v. Wade, which obviously impacts women's reproductive rights as well. And then we've also got people like Chrissy Teigen. She urged people to protest Trump's authoritarian spectacle, and she also accused him of defying the courts and disregarding checks and balances. Look, there's so many people that have come out in opposition against Donald Trump. And if we think to some of the points that it is that Brian Cox made within this clip that we've seen here, it's 1000% truth. And we can literally see it. You know, this guy is definitely trying to behave like an oligarch. And he literally does want to be in a position where he takes the United States of America and he no longer runs it as a democracy. But what he's going to do is he's obviously seeing that he wants to be a dictator, and we can see him cozying up to dictators on a regular basis. Just a very interesting clip here by Brian Cox. Let me know what you guys think about this clip in the comment section down below. While you're down there, give the video a thumbs up purely for the YouTube algorithm. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one.